Hello, 5th grade. I hope you're having a great night and it continues to be great after this lesson. And during, of course, because you love watching me talk. Today we're doing lesson 94. Lesson 94 is on page 616 and it's titled Using Estimation When Dividing by Two-Digit Numbers. It's something that again we've learned previously, and it's something that we're just adding to, we're building on, and hopefully we're gaining a better understanding for it. On page 616, the new concept, it says in lesson 92, which was 2 lessons ago, when we learned a method to help us divide by two-digit numbers, the problems in that lesson were chosen so that using the first digit to guess the division answer would work. However, this method does not always work. In this lesson, we will learn another strategy for two-digit division. Okay, and that strategy is using estimation when dividing by two-digit numbers. Alright, and at the top of page 617, it says using the first trick for 59 divided by 19. We follow this process. We see, and they put a question mark up here. Okay, basically 59 divided by 19 is what? Alright, we think 5 divided by 1, because remember we get rid of the ones place, and basically we end up with 5 divided by 1. How many times does 1 go into 5? Well, according to that method, we'd get 5. But if we actually put a 5 in here, and we have 59 divided by 19, okay, and we think that, well, 5 times 1 is 5, that'll work. Well, in this situation, it does not. And it does not work every time, because 5 times 9 is 45, 5 times 1 is 5, plus 4 is 9. Well, 95 is quite a bit bigger than 59. That method does not work. So, our guess 5 is incorrect because there are not 5 19s in 59. Our guess is too large, so we will estimate. To estimate, we mentally round both numbers to the nearest 10. Then we use the first digit trick with the rounded numbers. Okay, so instead of seeing these two numbers as 19 and 59, we round them first. We round them to the nearest 10. And 19 rounded to the nearest 10 is 20. 59 rounded to the nearest 10 is 60. Okay, now again we use that same trick. We get rid of the ones place. How many times does 2 go into 6? Well, 2 goes into 6 3 times, and then we can plug that 3 in up here. Using that quick estimation, rounding these numbers to the nearest 10 before dividing. Okay, now 3 times 9 is 27. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2 is 5. So we end up with a remainder of 2. We have 3 and 2 19ths, or 3 remainder 2. Okay, and this method, of course, works a little bit better when you're dealing with I guess, a high amount of ones. Alright, example 1, this one you will, of course, write down on your sheets. We have 595. Divided by 19. Okay, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to round these numbers as we try to divide them. 19, of course, doesn't go into 5, but 19 does go into 59. How many times? Well, first of all, I guess we've already done it on this sheet. 59 divided by 19. But we can round these numbers really quick. Let's round 59 up to 60 and 19 up to 20, and ask ourselves, how many times does 20 go into 60? We know that 2 goes into 6 3 times. Again, 3 times 9 is 27. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2 is 5. We subtract. We bring down. Alright, now I guess I'm going to read just to make sure that, yeah, I'm doing it the same way they are. When we have 25, we're dividing 25 again by 19. How many times does that 19 go into 25? Well, I think it's pretty obvious that 19 only goes into 25 once because it's relatively close to 25. But if you'd like to round to the nearest 10, you sure can. 25 would round up to 30, 19 would round up to 20, and it looks like 20 can only go into 30 one time. So we have a 1 here. 1 times 9 is 9. 1 times 1 is 1. We subtract. 15 minus 9 is 6, we end up with 31 remainder 6, or 31 and 6 19ths. And that's our answer for example 1, and this is what you will record. Alright, we're going to do a few practice problems that I'd like you to record on your other example sheets. For example 2, I would like you to do practice problem, let's start with practice problem B. Okay, so you will record on example 2, the line example 2, record practice problem B. It says 600 divided by 30. And this one will be relatively easy for us because they've taken the rounding out of it because they're already rounded to the nearest 10. 30, of course, doesn't go into 6, but 30 does go into 60. How many times does 30 go into 60? Well, how many times does 3 go into 6? We know that 3 goes into 6, of course, twice. 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 3 is 6. We subtract, bring down. 30 goes into 0 how many times? 0. And when we multiply 0 by 30, we of course get 0. There is no remainder here. Often we will forget to put this 0 in, and our answer will just be 2. Okay, understand that that's incorrect. You need to make sure that you are dividing through the entire number. Okay, we don't need to represent this place value with a 0 because of course it's to the left of the furthest actual digit, the furthest digit other than 0, I guess. We do have to represent this place value with a 0 because it's in between the last digit to the left and the decimal point. That we of course don't draw on there. Okay, so our answer is 20. Write this down on example 2 line. Okay, example 3 on your sheets. We only had one example, but example 3, I'd like you to write down the practice problem. Let's do the practice problem E. 829 divided by 48. 829 divided by 48. And it looks like if we round these numbers to the nearest 10 before dividing, first we understand that 48 doesn't go into 8. No digit there. 48 does go into 82. Let's estimate. Let's round first. 48 rounds up to 50. 82 would round down to 80. How many times does 50 go into 80? Okay, how many times does 50 go into 80? Well, I know that 50 times 1 is 50. 50 times 2 is 100. 100 is greater than 80, so that one won't work. So we just need to multiply 48 by 1 and subtract. 12 minus 8 is 4. 7 minus 4 is 3. We bring down our 9. Okay? Now again, this is where this method will be very, very helpful for us. Alright, let's round 349 to the nearest 10. This 9 tells me to round up to 350. Okay? The 48, again, just rounds up to 50. Alright, now let's get rid of the 0 here and ask ourselves, how many times does 5 go into 35? Well, I know that it's 7 times. Alright, so let's start with that number and see if it works. Okay? 7 times 8 is 56. 7 times 4 is 28, plus 5 is 33. Now, if our remainder is greater than 48, we need to change this number. Alright, but if it's less than 48, then we're good. 9 minus 6 is 3. 4 minus 3 is 1. 3 minus 3 is, of course, 0. Our answer ends up being 17, remainder 13, or 17 and 13 48ths. Alright, either answer is, of course, acceptable when doing division by two-digit numbers. Alright, again, remember that if you divide by a two-digit number and you'd like to write it as a mixed number, your quotient as a mixed number, you don't have to reduce that fraction, but otherwise we are really working towards reducing our fractions. I guess no other questions from me today. Remember to record these examples 1, 2, and 3. Example 1 was actually the example. Example 2 we did practice problem B, and example 3 we did practice problem E. So write those down and bring them tomorrow. Have a great night. See you tomorrow.